Thank you so much for tuning into my show. Happy New Year! I hope the new year is off to a great start for everybody, and it's already it's already memorable. I can say we're only 5 days in. So I hope that the same is going for everyone here. Welcome back to My Psychic Connection. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Cassidy, the Card Slinger, and I'm a professional tarot card reader, as well as a diviner of all bits of paper, but it's the truth. I read tarot cards, oracle cards, Lenormand cards, playing cards, just looking at my desk, surveying my beautiful array of tools here. And I'm really passionate about divination, especially in the sense of helping other people answer their questions, get some information to figure out where they want to go, get some clarity on their situations, and all that good stuff. So if it is your first time, what are we doing here tonight? We are doing readings. Yes, I am. And so if you want a reading this evening, please go ahead and into the comments below, type in your specific question. If you can give me a little bit of context, that's really helpful to tap into your situation and understand a little bit better what it is you've got going on. Free readings are going to be 2 minutes long. If you want me to go a little bit deeper, you have some donation options. So you can donate for a 3-minute reading, a 5-minute reading, a mini reading, or a mega reading. Both the mini and mega readings are not timed, so I can really sink my teeth into your question. The mini reading is suited for one particular question, and the mega reading is if you've got a bigger question with some follow-up questions, we can really dive in there as well. So please go ahead and put your specific questions into the chat. Guys, we are streaming on over 160 different platforms around all over the place. So if you put in a question and I haven't got to it yet, please be patient, but we are taking them in order that they're being asked. And we've got just the most amazing team in the back that keeps track of all of those good things. What else do I want to say? Okay, what do we not do? The rules for this evening. I'm not going to touch legal readings, medical readings, including pregnancy. No general readings. If you don't know what a general reading is, it's like, what's coming up for me? How is my love life? Like, I mean, love life sounds not terrible, but give me a question, right? Like, let me know what it is that you want to know, and I'm happy to dive into that question for you. And I'm also not a medium, so if you're looking for a mediumship reading to speak with past loved ones, we've got a bunch of really other wonderful psychics here at My Psychic Connection that you can connect with, and they can help you in that sense. So those are my no-go topics for this evening. What's going on in the sky? Well, it's the full moon in Cancer, pretty darn close to the exact degree. It's going to be hitting tomorrow afternoon, depending on your time zone. But there's a lot of emotions flying around right now. If you are typically a sensitive individual, or if you have noticed your heightened sensitivity over the last little bit, and I'm going to say probably continue to build until we hit that full moon mark tomorrow afternoon. Just kind of buckle up for that. Be gentle with yourself if you need to. It's a really good time. So the full moon in Cancer, we've got the moon back in its home sign. So anything related to, honestly, like cleaning up your home is a really good idea if you're looking for something to do. Clean up your space, clean up your relationships, tap in kind of to your home and your nesting, whatever that is. You can reevaluate your financial situation in terms of your resources and things of that nature. But it's a very watery sign. It's a very sensitive sign. If you are interested in any type of psychic work, or you are a psychic or a reader yourself, you might find your intuitions fairly heightened over this period of time. Or maybe you just need a bit of hug, maybe a bit of a hug or some rest. But, caution to try not to be too lost in your emotional space if you can. It can be tempting to almost be clingy or to be sunken into yourself at this time, especially with this really powerful energy here, the first full moon of the year. So take that in stride. and we will get past this one. Anything else I want to say? I think that's probably it. I've got a few more exciting things happening astrologically that we can talk about as we move along. But yes, we will be taking questions in the order that they arise. For the first 45 minutes, we will have the donations open. And if you want a reading right away, donations will skip to the front of the line. So thanks. Oh, I can see everybody's names popping up in here. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back. I see some familiar names. I see some new names. I really appreciate everyone tuning in here this beautiful Thursday evening. So with all of that, I feel like my intro is wrapped up. I'm ready for my first question, please. Kelly, hi Kelly. Happy New Year to you, my dear. Awesome. Kelly says, hello, Cassidy. Will my divorce be over soon, please? Let's take a look at that for you, Kelly. Good question. Thank you. See, that's a good example of a specific question. Will Kelly's divorce be over soon? Take a look at what I see there. Okay. Well, I do want to say the first thing I am seeing is light at the end of the tunnel on this one, but let's just kind of tip into what this has brought for you thus far. I feel like I have been pushing at this thing for a long time. I've got kind of in the past leading up to now this 8 of coins in reverse. I've done everything I needed to do. Why can't everyone just do what they need to do? I just feel like you've really been diligent with the paperwork and any of the filing stuff on your end to get this thing done, but you haven't been met with the same level of efficiency around. So that can start to weigh on a person. And I'm kind of seeing that here with this 9 of swords in reverse, which I'm not seeing this as crippling you in the sense of, you can't deal with anything else, but it's more of like a for fuck's sakes, like I just want this thing over. Tipping into kind of the near future here, I've got the Ace of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords in reverse. So I'm certainly seeing if there's any level of financial work that has to get sorted out, that's probably going to be at the forefront of what needs to be sorted out first. And then kind of moving on at the end of that, I've got the Judgment card upright. So I feel like we've got success at the end of the tunnel. To me, I would want to say, it's a little bit slower than you had hoped, because to me, it looks like 3 months ago was what you were looking for, if not before that. But just keep going, keep pushing on this one. I do see it happening. You've really done everything you can, and it's kind of out of your hands at this point. For everyone to do their part. So thank you so much for your question, Kelly. I do really appreciate it. And I hope that was helpful. That brings up a good point too, of just times in our lives when we do everything we can. Kelly says, yes, I'm just wanting the Band-Aid pulled off. The Virgo in me wants it all sorted out. I am not patient. And I get that. I'm not patient either. And it's one of the worst things I can say to myself or admit to myself when there's nothing I can do in a situation. It's so hard, and I get it. And whenever I do a reading for myself, or I see in the cards that it's like, there's nothing further to do. In a sense, it's like, great, good on you, and we did all that we can. But there really is a big chunk of life, folks, that we really have out of our hands, that there's nothing we can do about it. And, we just need to become friends with that uncertainty. We need to become a little bit more comfortable with our own limitations, I would want to say. She says, thank you, Cassidy. It's so good to see you. It's so good to have you here. Thank you so much, Kelly. All right. With that, I'm ready for my next question, please. Colleen. Hi, Colleen. Lovely to see you. Colleen says, I see an amazing new job opportunity coming in for me this year. What will my new boss, think of me and my quality of work? Oh, okay, very exciting. Well, that's really new job, new year. I like that. Good stuff. Well, I'm excited for you, Colleen. So let's take a look at that. Your new boss, you're assuming, I don't know if you've got something maybe lined up already, but let's see what your new boss at this new position would think of you and your quality of work. All right. Okay, so I did just want to kind of confirm here, do I see a new job coming in for you? Because just in case I pick up something different, the rest of the reading will fall apart quite quickly. But I do want to say I am absolutely seeing the Ace of Cups here upright. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've kind of narrowed out where you want to work, the area you want to go. Maybe not all the details are sorted out just yet, but I want to confirm to you that I'm also seeing a job offer and a new career coming in for you this coming year. So what will your new boss think about you and your quality of work? It's interesting because the sense I get is I don't know that your boss is going to have, to me, I feel like there's a bit of space between you and your boss initially. I'm kind of just tapping into that first bit of time where you're starting at this new job. And I feel like I just feel like a very in passing energy. I'm not really picking up that you are in a position where you're working super closely with this boss, where it's kind of like he might have somebody else, he or she might have somebody else training you, and you're just kind of at a point where you're checking in. So I would say I do really think that you'll have compatible personality types, and I think that there's a good rapport there and a good what's it called, like a good working relationship. But in terms of, he's hired you, so I think he's quite confident that you're exactly what he's looking for, but I don't see any sort of deep connection there initially. I feel like you're going to be working more closely with other folks. So thank you so much for your question. I hope that was helpful, and all the best to you. Congratulations. That is very, very exciting. New job coming in. I love career questions. I love job questions. Honestly, I love all types of questions. Perhaps that's because I'm a little snoopy, but it's just always very interesting to see what's going on in other people's heads, where we're headed in life. These are the reasons. These are the reasons. She says, so helpful. Thank you so much for the insight. Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you so much for your specific question, my dear. Good questions rolling in tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. It makes my job easy and it makes my job a lot of fun. So I am ready here for my next question, please. Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Oh my gosh, look at all these familiar faces. Lovely to hear from you. Rebecca says, hi, Cassidy. My son just had a major abdominal surgery today. How do you see him handling the temporary changes to his body? His birthday is 1/27/90. Thank you so much. Okay, so, I am not going to do anything in the realm of the medical side of this, but I am happy to look into the question that you asked there with how I kind of see him handling these temporary changes that he's facing following his surgery. So let's see what's going on for your son. Okay. Wow. All right. This is neat. If I were to sum up the cards, this is really quite beautiful. If I was to sum up what I see here is how he's going to handle these temporary changes, the words I get is like a boss. I honestly think this is kind of strange, but I feel like the hesitancy or the feeling I got in the pit of my stomach going into this surgery, I feel like the worry there is quite quickly alleviated with how he chooses to manage his time in this healing process. For leading up to it, I have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So I'm getting that hesitancy that, I'm a little, of course, it's a surgery, right? I'm unsure how things are going to go. Where he's at right now, I have the Six of Cups upright. So I feel like he's got probably yourself and the beautiful, friends, family relationships, people around him helping him through at this time, that I feel like he's kind of just enjoying the love and the support that has been, given to him as a result of the surgery. How he's handling those changes, I've got the two cards here. I've got the Hierophant upright and the Justice card upright. And that's why I'm saying, like, he's handling it like a boss. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's someone who's really quite ambitious. And I almost get the words like, this isn't going to slow me down, but at the same time being respectful of the healing process that needs to happen. So I don't think he's going to be reckless in not following what he has to do. But I really think he's going to handle things quite well. So thank you very much for your question. I do hope that that's helpful. She says, yes, he was very painful and nervous and he feels so much better. 100%. That's great to hear. And I see that as well. And I really think things will continue to improve. So thank you so much, Rebecca. I really appreciate your question. And yeah, I mean, there we go. I don't know, maybe this will be a theme that pops up here tonight. Another point in life where we find ourselves in a particular situation, and what we need to do is in some way lean into it, right? If there's nothing we can do, she says, thank you, you're very welcome. If there's nothing that we can do to change things immediately, and that's very much so often the case, maybe that's something we all need to keep our minds on for 2023, being friends with our own limitations, at least being comfortable in that space and kind of figuring out. And I'll just point it back, Rebecca, to your question with how we're handling these temporary changes to our bodies, or how he is particularly, but in a more general sense. That's a very beautiful question. There's quite a lot of wisdom in that question, you know. Anyone listening can go ahead and take that for themselves if they find themselves in a situation where we're handling something, but knowing that it is temporary. And I've got here, so take a quick moment in time. I have my Moonology Oracle, and the card that we have for the full moon in Cancer says, a personal issue reaches resolution, in this lovely card here. So I really think with this this full moon energy, there might be, and again, it's a general card, and it's not going to certainly apply to everyone, but perhaps there are some people among us that will find something interfering with us in our personal life is going to take a shift over this particular full moon period. And actually in this book, I was giving it a quick read before the show, and it said something to the effect of, sometimes the best way to tackle something is going sideways at it, think crabby. So, I mean, I think that's really cool as well, to kind of, maybe my option at this moment in time is not to go forward, but what can I do in this horizontal plane? If I can't, XYZ axis. If I'm stuck on an axis, what can I do in my expansion along this one axis? There goes the nerd in me. Let's put that to rest. Okay, thanks for your question. I am ready for my next one, please. Awesome. Donna. Hi, Donna. Thank you for your question. Donna Mason L asks, hi, should I stay at my job or find something else? And what time frame? Okay, let's take a quick check at this. I'll see as far as I can get here in a couple minutes. So should you stay at your job or find something else? So let's do a this or that situation on that question. How would it look for you staying at your job, and how it would look to find something else? Stay at Donna, for her to stay at her job. Right there. Find something else. Interesting. All right. Very interesting. So the combination of cards that I have for staying at your current job, I have the Queen of Pentacles upright, and I have the Devil card upright. Don't be frightened by that card, but I'm tapping into, if you're staying where you're at, I feel like there is quite a bit of good, but quite a bit of crap that you have to deal with at your current situation. This Queen of Pentacles, I feel like there's something within the environment, whether that's the people you work with or the job physically itself, that is, this could be related to the compensation you're receiving at your job, but there is a part of your current job you could find yourself being quite grateful for, that the fit is good. Then on the other hand, I have this Devil card here. So perhaps there's not a lot of opportunities to move up, or to have freedom in your job, or take enough days off, or have the flexibility you're looking for. So staying in your current position, I feel like if you're already experiencing polarizing good and bad, that seems to be what that job position will offer to you. It's kind of like great, and then it's kind of like crap. She says, yes, 100% good and recently crap. There we go. Okay. If you were to find something else, the two cards I have here, I've got the Five of Wands upright and the Queen of Wands upright. So what I want to say is, in terms of what you're looking to do, there might be a bit of competition in your industry for finding the job that you would prefer to take that would be a good fit for you. But I honestly think there's something else out there that's quite good. But at the same time, both options do really have good and bad. So I would say keep looking. Don't leave immediately. But that's what I have for you in the time I've got, my dear. So thank you so much for your question, and I hope that was helpful. Good luck to you. Another career question. The career question, and my other favorite type of question, is when you have a decision to make. Because that's always how I prefer to look at it, as opposed to, people will often come to me with the question, what should I do? Which option should I take? And then actually breaking it down using the cards to look at, okay, well, there's multiple considerations, right? Every job is going to have its great parts and its part that it's like, I could do without this. And it really just at the end of the day breaks down to, what are the things that are the most important to us? Is it really all about money right now? Is it, I need flexibility? Donna says, thanks, I'll think about both options. Yes, great. And I think that's a really good a good exercise within ourselves. You know, anytime you're looking to make a decision, it's kind of how I would plan out a tarot spread, but you can do it, you know, if you use cards yourself. But even just writing it down on paper, getting an understanding of, okay, what things, if I really have to start weighing them out, are the most important to me right now. Are there some things that it's like, well, flexibility would be nice, but at this point in my life, I can afford to, you know, devote myself to my work, or whatever the case may be. So anyways, a really good exercise in how we can help ourselves make decisions, which I am all about. So yes, what do I want to say? Share. I see some lovely comments coming up here. If you guys want to share me wherever you're listening, I would really appreciate it. We're trying to get our name out there so we can do as many readings and touch as many hearts, how cute, as possible. The donation lines are still open, and we've got lots of questions rolling in. So if you're interested in getting a bit longer reading and or jumping the line, that option is available to you. So the other thing I want to say, depending on where you're listening, you may or may not have comment access, but you can find all of the shows on My Psychic Connection. You can look up My Psychic Connection on YouTube or on Facebook, and all of our live shows are there, and you can comment in your questions. So make sure you're subscribed and following, and we appreciate every single person for being here. So I am ready for my next question, please. Lynette. Hi, Lynette. All right. So Lynette asks, will my ex-friend Dennis contact me soon and reconcile with me romantically soon, please? And thank you. All right, Lynette, let's take a look, see what's going on with Dennis, where his head and heart are at. If we see him willing to reach out and reconcile with you, specifically in a romantic context. Great question. Everything I need in that question. Thank you, Lynette. So how is Dennis feeling about Lynette right now? And will he be willing to, say, A, reach out, and B, reconcile with you romantically? Where is Dennis at with Lynette? Okay. Okay. Let me know how this sounds. Is it fair to say he screwed up, but he doesn't understand how he screwed up? How he's feeling, if I'm tapping into him, and this is not how I'm seeing this objectively, but if I'm tapped into him and how I'm feeling, I feel like I'm a little bit stuck or trapped, or I'm feeling really stubborn, to be honest with you. And I feel like I know I screwed up a little bit, but am I willing to face the music? No. I don't think you screwed up. I think he screwed up. I think he screwed up, and probably why this distance between you is he's not ready to face the music in relation to him screwing you over or screwing up in some fashion. Is he going to reach out? I got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. To me, not against the idea, but I really don't see him doing it too soon. That Knight of Pentacles may have good intentions, but if anything else, like he's the one knight where the horse's feet are planted. There is not a lot of movement or motion here. So that was the first part of the question. And would he be willing to reconcile? I have the Knight of Swords reversed. So I'm not sure if he would rather argue a little more. I feel like he's a little too fired up at this moment in time to reach out, reconcile, and apologize. Lynette says yes. Yes, that's what I'm seeing for you, my dear. Thank you so much for your very nicely worded question. I really appreciate it, and I do hope that that was helpful. All right, so yeah, interesting. Once again, she says he is stubborn. Yeah, I could see that there as well. Once again, perhaps the theme of the night, hopefully not a theme of the year, but definitely the theme of the evening. The things that we, trying at least for us to understand what plane of movement we have in situations, because sometimes there's very little we can do, especially when it comes to changing other people's minds or their hearts. My goodness, if you've ever watched the movie Frozen, what does he say? Like the mind can be changed, or the heart is hard to persuade, the mind can be, something to that effect. Anyways, moving right along. I am ready for my next question, please. Nikki, hi Nikki. Nikki asks, what does Spirit have to say what I must do in this situation that I'm in? Is Emilian's parents influencing him with talking to me? Okay, so I will start with the beginning of that question there. So unless this is all related to the same thing, is Emilian's parents influencing him with talking to me? So let's take a look at this situation. What does Spirit say? The best action that you can take in this particular situation. Let's take a look. What guidance is there for you? Okay. Just quickly to the second part of your question, is Million's parents influencing him with talking to me? I am getting a yes, but I am almost getting a favorable yes there. So if he is not talking to you or there's some strain there, I don't feel like that's coming from the parents. So what does Spirit have to say for you in terms of guidance for this situation? Well, all right, the first card I have for you is called Narrow Pathway, Tread Thoughtfully. So again, I feel like you might have limited options with how you're trying to, in lack of a better word, squeeze through this situation. I feel like there's a fair bit of pain involved, and or I feel either having been like, not attacked, but I'm at least disappointed or harmed. I'm feeling a sense of harm in some fashion. And the guidance for you, one of them in the moment, this Four of Coins upright, I would say you need to shield and guard and protect yourself, not be too open in this situation, because I feel like there's a wrongdoing having been done to you. And the wrong thing to do would be to disregard your own feelings in this situation. So I would say there's a need for you to kind of honor where you're at, how you're feeling, and how this situation has impacted you. And again, here with this tread thoughtfully, you know, be discerning. Be discerning with your actions going forward, my dear. So thank you for your question. I do hope that was helpful. You know, I think was it the last show, maybe the show before that, I said to myself, I was like, I'm going to just have a better sense of my 2-minute time, and I'm going to get that bell less and less. And tonight, I'm just hitting that bell every single time. I am a bit of a chatterbox, especially when I have cards on my table, especially when I have this many decks on my table. Anyways, so yes, please, if you guys are watching or if you're new to joining the show, because we've been going about half the time here, if you would like a reading, please post your specific question in the comments, and we are keeping track of the order everybody's comes in. Nikki says, thank you so much. You're very, very welcome, my dear. Yeah, so we are keeping track of the questions as they come in, and we're on a number of different platforms. So do please be patient as we get to your question. And we will get through as many as we can this evening. So, oh, another thing I want to say, mypsychicconnection.com. You can find all of the readers here. So myself and everybody else that you've seen. We've had a stacked lineup this week, everybody back. If you're looking for a more personal, in-depth reading, one-on-one session, you can go to mypsychicconnection.com and find each of us there. I hope I'm there. If I'm not there, I'm going to be there very soon. But other than that, you can find us there. And I am the last show of tonight, but please tune back in tomorrow evening. We've got Journey and Friends, which is one of the coolest shows because, man, it's just a lineup of a whole bunch of psychics having a really good time answering questions. And then we'll be back to our regular schedule again next week. So with that, can I have the next question, please? Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Lovely to hear from you. Stephanie asks, hi, Cassidy. I am a student in herbal medicine. Ooh, and I just started up a small business doing holistic healing. Just wondering how it will do or if I have jumped into it too soon. That's a great question. I have context. I know what I'm talking about. Stephanie, you write a good question. So let's see if her herbal medicine business, holistic healing small business, how it's going to go as she's just started up, and you know, has she jumped in too soon? Let's see. What do the cards have to say for Stephanie? Okay. All right, my dear. So I'm really tapping into how much this career path means to you, and I don't know if you had started studying something else or there was at one point a different direction, but I feel like this popped up and this presented itself and it just kind of really took your heart. So I really feel like you're sinking a lot of yourself into this business, and I want to, you know, commend you on that, because it's a really great thing when I see things like people following their path. In terms of how it's going to go, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like there's going to be a bit of challenges here scaling to a level that makes you comfortable with where your business is at. To me, that seems like honestly like almost a marketing issue or a word of mouth issue. It just seems like getting your name out there is one of the major hurdles that will be presenting itself soon. Certainly not something that can't be overcome, but I would recommend to you to kind of alleviate that to, and I don't mean like Facebook advertising or just haphazardly popping advertisements out there, but I feel like really in your, whether your services are more located to your area or for it's in some fashion an online business, getting yourself really involved in the community and meeting the right people to kind of get your services out there, because I definitely do see, I want to say, a lot of great potential with this. So don't give up in case if it's a little rocky to get going with. It might feel too soon, but sometimes we just got to learn. We sometimes just got to jump right in. And that's one of the best pieces of advice I was ever given. And I think it sums up really how I prefer, for better or worse, to conduct myself sometimes, is when we paint ourselves into a corner where sometimes it's just jumping off the deep end really is the thing that kickstarts us into doing the next thing, doing something that we love, really sinking our teeth in and getting into something. Sometimes that's what we need to do. Paint yourself into a corner, like, now I'm here. What do I do to figure this back out? So anyways, all that good stuff. Thank you for your question. I really wish you all the best with your business. Wonderful. Okay, I am ready for my next question, please. To the lovely folks in the back. All right. Jamie? I hope that's how I'm pronounce your name, my dear. Jamie asks, hi, will I receive close to $56,000 for that from my lawsuit winnings? Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to lay 3 cards, and I want to try and get a sense of the potential opportunity that's presenting itself with receiving this from your winnings. So I'm going to look at, do we see up to that amount, around that amount, or more than that amount kind of coming in? So we'll see how that looks for you in terms of your winnings. All right. And I will just say, the fact that this being a lawsuit question, I'm not reading into this in terms of the legality of the question, but more in terms of the financial sense of what is coming to you. I do think that is quite the right ballpark. I don't know if more than that was ever a question, but I'm not seeing the value exceeding that. But I want to say that is pretty close to hitting the nail on the head, minus, I would say, a little bit, whether that's, legal fees or whatever you have to pay out of that. Perhaps because I feel like as soon as that money comes in, there's a bit allocated to whether I'm paying off past bills. So it's not like I'm receiving this money and now I just have this big chunk in my account. It's kind of like it comes in and it starts allocating to different things that you've had to pay back out. But I do want to say, I see that money transferring. I do. I think you've got some quite competent people looking after this process, but I would say that's really quite close to the ballpark, maybe just a little bit less once things are paid out. So thank you very much for your question, my dear. Excellent question. And I really wish you all the luck, wish you luck and all the best. And I hope that was helpful. So thank you for your question. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I know it's getting late here, especially in certain time zones, or maybe early, depending on where you're at, because we are, like I said, on over 160 different platforms. She says, thank you. You're very welcome. Over 160 platforms around the globe. So thanks for tuning in to my show here on My Psychic Connection. All right. Ready for the next question, please, to the lovely folks in the back. Kim asks, hi, will my son be okay? Okay. That's teetering on a bit general, my dear, but I will look into just kind of get a sense of what the cards have to say on this matter for you. Because I know when we're talking about our family members, our children, people that are that level of close to us, I understand what is behind questions of that nature. So I'm going to just take a look and see kind of what the cards have to say about that, and if there's any sort of guidance for you at this time regarding his situation. All right, my dear. So what I want to say, and I can quite clearly see, is we are in the thick of it at this moment. And I feel like I get a sense, like I get an understanding of why you're asking this question and why you're specifically asking it now. Um, I don't know if there was some level of accident or something that kind of led to the situation we find ourselves in. But what I want to say, if I were to describe this, is it's kind of like a U point, and I feel like we are nearing the bottom. Like I feel like we're honestly at the bottom of the pit at this moment in time. And to be completely honest with you, I do see things being okay and being better going forward, but in full recognition that at this moment in time, that might not seem particularly likely. Guidance or information for you at this point in time, and I know this can just sound cheesy as all heck, but I do really think that you should take some time to, I don't even want to say it because it sounds bad, but if you can detach for your own peace of mind and your own safety, because I'm worried about your sleep and your ability to handle your own day-to-day obligations. So I want to say there's a message here to make sure to not forget to take care of yourself in trying to support him, because that'll be really important at the end of the day. So thank you for your question, and I really wish you all the best. And I really mean what I say there. I think you will be okay. Just it might sound far off at this moment in time. So thank you for your question. I do appreciate everybody being here with me tonight. I'm having such a good time. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. You can find us at My Psychic Connection over on YouTube. And, subscribe to our Facebook page. And you can keep in touch with all of the great psychics and all of the shows that we have running. Kim says, thank you. You're very welcome. Great. Okay, Stephanie says, I did say thank you, but it didn't pop up for some reason. Oh, you're very welcome, Stephanie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Awesome. So I am ready for another question here. We are just cruising here this evening. I'm having such a good time. All right. Delphine says, do you see me reconnecting with my daughter soon, please? And thank you. Well, let's take a look at that situation, the dynamic going on there. And if we see a connection. Okay, so tapping into this situation, it feels a little bit heavy. I think your daughter is in a very tapping into sort of where she's at. I think the idea of reconnecting, she's hurt. I think she's really quite hurt about something in the nature of your relationship with her. And I wouldn't be surprised at the moment, because you said you're looking to reconnect. This seems like quite a firm, hard break when this ending happened between you two. And I get almost a sense of like quite near radio silence. And I don't know if you're kind of your only understanding of what's going on with her, or the communication that only exists between you two seems to be through the family. I talked to this person in the family who has spoken with her, but I'm not getting much in the sense of, and it's really gated by honestly her hurt and her heartbreak in this situation. And I don't know, I feel like you might not be seeing the pain that she's carrying in this situation. In terms of, do I see a reconnection soon? I can't lie, I don't see it happening soon, but I want to let you know I do see it happening farther down the line in the future. I feel like this distance and this disconnection is showing me that that's kind of what's here at the moment and what will be continuing. But I want to say, looking further into the future, does this have potential to be rekindled? Yes, it does. I genuinely think it does. So I really wish you the best of luck with that situation, and thank you very much for your question. Really appreciate it. All right, guys, so we are cruising into the show here. I'm having a really nice time answering everybody's questions. Again, we've got Journey and Friends. His show is tomorrow. Goodness, hang on. It starts 8 o'clock Eastern time. 8 o'clock Eastern time, and that show goes for, as long as it needs to, but it's often a couple hours, if not more. So make sure that you tune into that tomorrow night, and then back next week with all of our scheduled shows. And I want to do a really quick shout out this evening. If Janet and Virginia are watching, Journey's wonderful grandmothers, he said you watched my show a while ago, and it just made me so happy. So if you both are watching, thank you, and I'm sending you all of my love. Okay. Jumping back in. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about. I'll slot this into the show here right now. So guys, next week, Mars is going direct. That's exciting. Mars has been in retrograde. I believe that was since the end of October. How that can manifest itself as some people find, feelings of being more lethargic during this time period, can be kind of an intense or a very tense, passive nature kind of feeling. So if you've sort of felt over the holiday season, even leading up to that, with that Mars being, largely our ambitions or how we approach and go after the things we're looking for. If you found my motivation is just not there, or I haven't had an outlet for whatever is bubbling up inside me. Delphine says, thank you so much. You're very welcome, my dear. If you've kind of felt that, it's a really good time. So that's happening next week. Oh my goodness, I had it written down here. I want to say it's the 11th, January 11th or 12th, depending on your time zone, where you're at in the world. Really great time for you to push things forward, push things through. If you're having a hard time, if you've made a resolution, you're having a hard time putting it in place, don't worry, next week is coming for you. And it's a really good time to get unstuck, to get things back moving again. If you need, like I said, if you need some kind of outlet, it's a great time to get moving your body. I know a lot of people are looking to get active in this particular time of the year. Get that going. Do what you need to do to get your goals back in motion. On the other hand, if you have found that the last couple of months, or kind of since that time frame, has really blessed you, it has shuffled things around, it has pushed things out of the way and brought new things in. Mars retrograde certainly is not just a big everybody's lazy wave in time. So if that doesn't fit for you, it's probably something else going on in your chart. I know Mars retrograde has been blessing for a lot of people, including myself, because I started this show. So it's a very neat energy, but just know that there's probably going to be a shift in your muchness, in your ability to show up for stuff, likely coming in, like I said, January 11th, 12th next week. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be exciting. All right, to the lovely folks in the back, I am ready for my next question. Guys, we have a donation for a mini reading. Yay, that is so exciting. Thank you so much. I am not timed. I need to get myself situated and nice and comfy here. Awesome. So this is from Down and Over. Hello. She asks, hi Cassidy, will my oldest son find another place soon? Where they live? Sorry, my oldest son. I can take my time, folks. This one is not timed. Hi, Cassidy. Will my oldest son find another place soon? Where they live, no, it's not the best for him and my grandkids. All right. Fantastic question. Let's sink our teeth into this one. So do we see him currently finding a situation, finding a new place to live soon? Because he's currently, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh, depending on where we are at, where we are hanging our hat, as they say, man, that can make a difference. So I'm sorry that they find themselves in that situation. But let's take a look. Will your oldest son be able to find another place soon? Oh, well, this is clear and excellent. Okay, so before I jump into the exciting part, what I do want to just kind of tap into is what's led up to this situation, kind of where you've already said, they're not in a place that's good for them, and kind of looking into the past of what the situation has been. That Eight of Swords, I wouldn't be surprised if quite physical, like the space feels like it's almost suffocating in a sense, like it's physically almost wanting to push them out. They might even have felt in a way a bit trapped there. Like, I don't know if they're held there by a leash or it's just too hard to be able to, switch things up and move out. But in the past, I feel like I've been stuck here, and I feel like I have not been happy with this level of being stuck. Very limited options. They've probably outgrown the space. I feel like there might not be nearly enough privacy, whether it's got not enough rooms, not enough closets, just not enough. I feel like this space has been not only not suited, but actively a very negative force in your son's life with his kids. So where we're at right now, this is quite interesting looking at this progression going from the Eight of Swords reversed into the Nine of Cups. Sorry, Eight of Swords upright going into this Nine of Cups reversed to where we're at this moment. Because it almost seems like, quite recently it's either been brought to his attention. She says, yes, he grew up too fast and started off, no, not all that well. All right, so it seems like something quite recently seems to have really illuminated to him just how bad this is. Because with this sense too, I've got the Eight of Swords. You can notice that, and it's not always relevant to me with this card, but you can see that she's got this blindfold over her eyes where it's like, I'm either not wanting to see how bad it is, because if I see how bad it is, then I feel like I'm going to have to do something about it, or I'm just really not admitting to myself how terrible and how awful this situation really is for me. So I want to say in recognition first is moving kind of from the past to the present right now. It feels like, I don't want to like head is out of bum, or at least, eyes are open, and I really can see that this is something that's not just not suited, but it's an active pain in the ass for my family and myself. So I feel like he's already at this moment where we're maybe not completely mobilized to do everything it takes in this moment to find something new, but I want to say it's definitely a heck of a lot better than, recent past showing me I've almost got no intention to move out of this stuck space that I'm in. But here's where things start to get interesting, my dear. So I've laid 3 cards because I wanted to check. You've asked soon, so I asked very specifically for January, February, March. Do we see a relocation happening there? Check this out. So here I have the Judgment card in reverse. So as you can see, kind of in the upright position, these lovely folks at the bottom, they're in their coffins and they're rising. And the Judgment card, again, we're dealing with this almost wake-up call energy that's like, all right, time to go. Like, this is no longer something we have time to decide if we want to move out. It's like the fire is lit under and we actually need to move. So, she says, I can only help so much, but I don't want to shield him too much. But he does have to do this for his family. Absolutely. So if on your end you've really been, I would say, putting the bug in his ear or helping to support the idea that they need to move, I want to say that that's working, because to me it feels like he hasn't really come to that realization on his own. You said, you can only help so much. At the same time, I feel like you have helped. You really have helped in this situation to be able to change his mind and understand just how bad this situation was and is and needs to be dealt with. So when I've asked again really specifically, do I see a new residence happening in the month of January? Not quite yet, but I feel like at least we're searching. He's kind of made the decision within himself to find a new place, to start looking at what else is out there, and really realize, hey, it's time to find something else. She says, yes, lots, and I need them to motivate themselves. And I can understand that can be wickedly frustrating, especially in the space of an Eight of Swords, because it's like, this situation is not good, but I'm also not quite willing to do much about it. Like, as an outside person, this is your son. That's so frustrating to deal with. It's like, open your eyes. Like, do you not see? Do you not see how bad this is? She says they both need to work together, but he is doing it himself. Absolutely, 100%. And with that Nine of Cups in reverse, there's probably even a little bit of stubbornness against that, where again, I still feel like there's a recognition now where there was not one previously. There's a recognition here of like, okay, I need to move. He's maybe not admitted to you yet or actually done anything active. He's probably still inactive at this moment in time on this matter. But I want to say the mind has started to make a shift. So again, looking at January, I really think that the search has begun this month, but I don't see a relocation having happened just yet. When I look at the next 2 months, do I see them finding a new place? She says, I know he wants to come back home. That's a no. And I think that's the right choice, my dear. I really don't think that would be a good fit at all. I do have, just a card on that moment, the tower. So I would say, it sounds like you're quite firm in that. And I feel like that is certainly the right choice. So January, like I said, I feel like he's starting to look, certainly by the end of the month, at least he's more than open to the idea, and he's making this more of a reality. The next 2 cards I have here for February and March, I have the Lovers upright and I have the 2 of Cups upright. Especially in terms of a moving and relocation card, I really like what I'm seeing with these cards. And I will say February, March timeframe, I genuinely see them relocating. And I feel like they perhaps find it in February. They might get the deal in place, but I feel like the lease has not been signed until March timeframe. She said, yes, hands in the air, because look at this. This is quite literally signing a new deal, signing something that fits better. And look, we've even got a little house here in the background. Pardon me. I may not be able to see it all the way on my screen. There's actually a couple of the little houses. And this energy is just a complete 180 shift. She said, this is awesome. It is awesome. This is why, I laid the cards. I was like, woohoo. And I'm not trying to just bowl over how challenging this situation has been, because full recognition, it's been, in a sense, a living hell, right? To be in that living situation. But this month, the goal of January, and I would say, let's see though here for you to support him with this. All right. The goal of this month, certainly, I think not getting too involved and not being too pushy, but more, and I feel like you know how to do this, a subtle seeding, because I feel like the way to get through to him is almost through a subconscious space where it's like he would take a comment and it would bubble up later, as opposed to you saying like, I need you to find a new place, because with that you might be met with a bit of stubbornness, pushed back in your direction. So January, focusing in on this month, let's get that search moving. I feel like we're not relocated here, but at least we're looking. I feel like we're looking. February, we're quite a bit more serious. She says, yes, totally. Absolutely. This doesn't quite feel like moved yet, although I feel like there's really something in place by the time February rolls around. And what you could even do in this month, let's see, hang on. All right, no, I still feel like the gentle with your son is kind of the right mode there. Continuing to kind of give them that space and support, and you need anything from me, I'm around. I can do a Google search, things of that nature. I feel like we've found somewhere that will work in the month of February, and we are signing something that fits in March. So that's really what I'm seeing there. I do see it happening, and I understand for you that could be quite a challenging situation. The oracle card I have here to kind of wrap up this reading, it says, choosing your path, all is possible. And we have, it's quite a nice card. There's a guy here, he's in armor with a cape, and he's kind of looking out towards what is a rather vast horizon. She says, thank you so much, this is great. It is great. And it seems a little unlikely, I would not imagine, but it's what the cards are presenting to me, and it honestly seems like a very highly possible situation and probable situation that they will be relocating by the month of March. So for you, though, all is possible. Certainly, he's if this is guidance for you, all is possible. So I think that sort of echoes what I had said there, is it might sound a little bit ridiculous or almost in wildest dreams, but the moment for you is to kind of help from afar where you can, almost like supervise from back over here in this corner a little bit and just help to sort of facilitate that happen. She says, thank you so much. This is great. You're very, very welcome, my dear. And yeah, that is what I'm seeing for you. It looks, yeah, I see them relocating. I see them figuring their situation out, because there has been recognition of like, wow, this is not working. But certainly on your end, and I feel like you're already doing this, not getting too involved, like this guy, right? And getting too involved, getting too much support would just be met with a little bit too much resistance that would push things in the wrong way. So thank you so very much for your donation, my dear. I really appreciate it. That is an example of a donated reading, and we're heading towards the end of the show. So if you would like a longer reading with me, you can find me over on mypsychicconnection.com, as well as all of the other amazing psychics that are available on this platform. And I will be back next Thursday, guys. This is my slot. So Thursday nights, it's 11 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Pacific time. And I will be here slinging cards every Thursday. So we got a couple more minutes here. I am happy to do one more question here before I wrap up the evening. All right, Heather. Hi, Heather. Thank you for your question. Heather says, what will happen to my job? Will everything work out concerning my workers' compensation or my workers' comp in having a job? Please and thank you. Okay, what will happen to my job? Will everything work out concerning my workers' comp? Are you currently working? If you're here and can answer that question, please let me know. But I will lay some cards here to kind of see what it looks like with your job position and then get kind of a bit of a sense of what's going on. Will everything work out concerning your workers' comp? Okay. What will happen with Heather's job coming up? Okay. And your workers' compensation. All right. So, will everything work out? What's going to happen with your job? Full recognition. I'm very sorry with what's going on in your work situation. It seems incredibly stressful. I don't know. When you're asking for workers' compensation, was there a job injury here or something in that regard where I feel like the workplace was negligent in some fashion or in some way. We're in this moment in time, like I just feel tapping in with how you're feeling about your job. Like I'm really stressed out. I feel like there's not a lot of support here. At least I'm feeling like I'm not particularly supported. And I got to be all the way honest with you. What's happening with your job, I feel like saying the words, the fight to continue, whatever it is that you are currently involved in is not quite over yet. If you have to either fight to keep your position or, man, I feel like your workplace is just not being great to you at this moment in time. And I want to say that I don't see that immediately remedying itself. Looking a little bit further, kind of, I want to say it does lessen up. So I think things will turn out okay in the end, if I were to say that. But my darling, I just kind of want to say you need to buckle up for this one. It seems like a bit of a rocky point at this time. Thank you so much for your question, and I really do wish you all the best, and I hope that things work out for you, okay? So, guys, we are wrapping up here into the last couple of moments of the show. I want to take some time to thank every single person for being here with me this evening. It's such a blast. I love hanging out here and slinging cards with everyone. So again, my name is Cassidy the Card Slinger here on My Psychic Connection. We are doing live shows every night of the week, Monday through Friday. And if you haven't caught them yet, I hope you have, because my gosh, they are great. We've been really good this week, and they're always really good. But again, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, we've got Journey in Friends, which is just such a fun show. It is a really good time, and you can come and check that out. And in the meantime, between shows, evenings, weekends, mornings, whenever the mood strikes you and you have a question, you can find us over on mypsychicconnection.com and get a one-on-one readings with any of the readers that you see here on the live shows, as well as there's some other wonderful readers popping up there. So you can check them out as well. Do I have time? My clock says I have 2 minutes left. Maybe one more quick question, if we have one. Just a quick question. I can read really fast. I don't know. It might be too late. Perhaps. Okay. I'm sorry about that. But what I will do is have a quick card here as a sign-off message. What does this have to say for everybody listening here tonight? Dun, 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 dun. All right. I have the card. It's called Vast Vistas. It says expand your horizons. And we have this really nice, I don't know what he is, almost like a jester type person sitting on a box looking out onto looking out at a boat. It's beautiful. And this fits with me in terms of when we're talking about the Mars retrograde ending next week. Anything that may have felt like it was in a bit of a box. We've had a couple examples tonight of things that seem maybe unlikely actually taking a shift and changing as we move forward. So expand, throwing the cards around, expand your horizons, folks. Really gear up for another great start. If you haven't had it yet, if you've had a great start to 2023, That's fantastic. If it hasn't quite struck for you, we've got another chance coming up next week, as I said, with that planet going direct. So with that, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but thank you so much for being here tonight. I am Cassidy, the Card Slinger, and we will see you next week. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.